the Church of Scientology is so afraid of.
This is SPTV.
Hello, guys, and welcome back to another episode of SPTV, where, as you guys already know, every literal day of the week, we ask ourselves the same damn question. What in the literal abominable hell is Scientology so afraid of? You guys, what are they so afraid of? Well, I can tell you they're definitely very afraid of this little documentary that came up back in 1999. You guys, can you imagine? What's up, Baby Dazzle? What's up, Inappropriate Hafer? How are you guys? Good to see you here. And yeah, you guys, today we're going to get into reacting live. I thought it could be fun to get some of y'all's instant feedback as we watch this little documentary for ourselves called Scientology: Missing in the Scientology RPF Happy Valley. Isn't that great, you guys? We're all going to be investigating Scientology live, and we're going to go to find people that were missing in Happy Valley. So, yeah, this documentary I found very, very interesting. And I thought you guys would also like it very much because, as you guys already know, we are here to get to the receipts, and we are here to get to the evidence that people have been plucking their eyes out, you guys, to pretend the evidence is not a simple, literal, this, right, guys? A GTS away. Google that stuff, or Google that. Let's not say the word, you guys, but y'all can see it. GTS for yourselves very quick, because there's been plenty of documentaries, turns out, that have been done, that have exposed time and time again what in the hell these people are doing inside of those hotels. But apparently the corporate media, you guys, they have a brain like a chipmunk, right? Like, you know how chipmunks go and they just like run around putting, we're not going to call them squirrels because we're not talking about squirrels. We're talking about chipmunks putting nuts, hiding them all over the place and then forgetting. So that is the current state of affair of the current media apparatus worldwide, you guys, because Germany, being one of the only countries who was onto these people. Never mind, let's not forget that little Tom Cruise and little John Travolta were found to be wielding their little corrupt AF power to, grease the wheels and, talk to people in Congress and get everyone on board. And, let's go talk to Bill Clinton and let's just have, Bill Clinton finesse things with the German people because, we all really want to get along. All of that, you guys, has been exposed decades ago. Never mind that no matter how many times it gets exposed, it all just gets ignored. And I think it gets ignored partly because people really like to play dumb. That could be one of the reasons, you guys. That could really be one of the reasons. Well, hello, Mia Louise from Australia. Thank you for joining us. And without further ado, guys, let's really start with this documentary because I really want to hear what you guys have to say. Let's do it like that. Okay. So here you go. Missing in the Scientology RPF Happy Valley documentary from decades ago, February 25th, 1999. Let's see what we find here, you guys.
Hamburg, November 1995. With the missing persons complaint, German authorities are searching for the president of Scientology in Germany. In May 1995, 51-year-old Wiebke H. was suddenly relieved of her post. The investigative authorities in Germany believe she was placed in a Scientology prison camp in California. The Scientology organization asserts that the missing woman is dedicating herself to spiritual advancement.
So, isn't that great, you guys? Before anybody knew of any type of where's Shelly and is she missing or whatever, there was this woman here that was missing. Isn't that great? You guys, that just all manner of women seem to just disappear inside of these hotel chains, nowhere to be found again. All manner of people looking for them. And apparently this is just, the usual, right? Because in Scientology, they really know what in the hell they're doing inside of those hotels, disappearing women. So this was a woman that was the head of the Scientology organization, you guys. And in Scientology, they play a very stupid infantile game. They call it the L. Ron Hubbard's birthday game, you guys. And all the adults, like, infantile idiots, just jump up and down and go, L. Ron Hubbard is turning another year, you guys. Let's really all get very excited. This is so incredible. And this woman, really got caught up in her own, like, it's all going to be so great, you guys, that, she just started false reporting all these statistics, you guys. Just literally pulling numbers out of her ass to win the birthday game because she really thought, oh, you know what? What better thing to do with my life than lock me up inside these hotels and, just falsify statistics because, I'm really going to be doing great if I do that with my life. So, I don't know if it had been found out by the time this documentary was done that she had been literally moved across countries. This woman moved to Happy Valley. How does a German woman end up in Happy Valley? All of you are asking yourselves. Well, she was a false reporter, you guys, and she was the head of the organization in Germany. She was the elite of elites, this woman, according to everybody, until she confessed that she and her other guy, Jürgen Teller, whatever it was his name, was the senior CS of the German organization, where they were both found to just be lying out of their ass. You guys, literally, they just made it all up. They said, we are very up statistic here. We really are expanding. And, it was all a fraud. So, at the time, David and Debbie Cook and Mike Rinder and Angie Blankenship and all manner of executives were very pressed about being false reported to. I mean, that will get these executives' panties in a bunch. You guys, if you ever want to see a bunch of executives yelling, screaming, hollering like raving maniacs, falsifying statistics is what they really care about. I mean, imagine that you'll have like a child that was trafficked inside of the hotel and that they could literally care less Literally, like, where's their passports and lock it up. That they're very, very cool with. But, you know, they're not cool with an adult turning in a false report. They will really come down hard on that. Isn't that interesting, you guys? That, you know, that are the priorities of the people that's supposed to be the most ethical people in the world. That's what they claim.
Ich habe einen Scientologen angerufen.
I called up the Scientologist and said, "Where is my sister? I read here in the newspaper that she is missing." I knew enough people there, and so I called them up. At first, they gave me a little bit of the runaround. Then I told them, "Out with it, give me the number, otherwise I'll raise a scene here." That is what I did, and as a matter of fact, Wiebke called back 2 days later. And after she heard...
Isn't that great, you guys? And shout out to anyone who has family members missing inside of the hotels. If any of y'all want to get anywhere ever, follow what this man just said he did. He had to go in there and tell them, "Where is my sister? If you don't help me, I'm going to raise a scene." So even people back in 1999, guys, were actually raising scenes and getting some answers by showing up and demanding to get some answers. This German man that went looking for his sister.
that there was a missing persons complaint out on her, she went to the consulate in Los Angeles, and that killed the matter. The police never came back here because she's not missing. According to the way we gauge things, she's under certain conditions at certain places, since I would probably not go there.
Orten, wo ich sagen würde, da würde ich wahrscheinlich nicht hingehen.
So isn't that great, you guys? Shout out to the police. And yeah, if anybody thinks that Shelly's missing and this woman wasn't missing, and you know, no one's ever missing. That's what we keep hearing, guys. No one is missing. Everyone is doing great inside of the hotels. That's what we're all to believe in this year 2023. That no one's missing, that everyone there is having an amazing time for themselves. Isn't that great?
Also wenn Wiebke was nicht will,
So when Wiebke doesn't want to do something, then nobody in the world can get her to do it. So she would have left this camp too, and she would also have been in the position here in Hamburg as well as in LA to find a way out. For example, if she didn't have anything to wear, and that if the things she needed for survival were not there, then she wouldn't be going along with them. She would have become very, very furious if something happened which she didn't want. That's the way she's been her whole life. That's also why she was so successful with the Scientologists, because she wants or wanted exactly that.
So ist sie ihr ganzes Leben lang gewesen. Deswegen war sie bei den Scientologen auch so erfolgreich, weil sie das genau will oder wollte.
So isn't that interesting, you guys? Here is the brother of this adult woman that did take it upon herself to sign up to be part of these hotels. And, you know, he's keeping it real AF, right? Because at the end of the day, what can people really do if adults want to sign themselves up, full willing, full knowing, full consenting, full reading the policies, full thinking it's a great, wonderful idea that everyone's going to love it, when in the hell they're going to do inside? So a lot of this fake advocatism comes to purport that we really have to be on a mission to cradle and canoodle adults that, you know, might be making wrong choices for themselves. And that we really have to all sit out here wasting our time worrying about what said adults are all about doing for themselves inside the damn hotels. The idea that adults don't know what in the hell's going on inside of those hotels could not be more false or stupid. These people pay. These people signed a consent form. These people signed a check sheet. These people signed their ethics routing form. These people do everything full knowing. But guess who does nothing full knowing? Their kids that they bring along to the hotel. Their kids that get co-opted. Their kids that get scammed by their own literal parents who, you know, are very, very cozy with hotel executives. So until that relationship isn't explained, we aren't getting anywhere. Until that relationship is not acknowledged by all Scientology parents and executives that thought it was a great idea to run your sham 501c. Get it through your thick head. It ain't that complicated. You're in a total sham scam 501c. Go and GTS that quickly for your damn selves. Scientology parents and Scientology executives that are really purporting that you really have these amazing, great beliefs and technology that is really getting you somewhere. It's a sham 501c that y'all are involved in. And go double check real quick with a good criminal attorney to see what kind of real legal protections are going to be in place if you're just part of a complete Ponzi scheme sham 501c. Because skip us with your beliefs and your L. Ron Hubbard deal. Skip us with that very, very quickly. Skip it. Literally, don't even bother mentioning what in the hell you were believing. Just start bothering to mention why your 21 and under kids were getting scammed into the hotels and into these commercial buildings. Because, you know, there's been a lot of looking out for adult grown women that are adamant about being there. So how is anyone going to go and rescue a grown-ass woman that loves it in there? In whatever in the hell state she's in, she's loving it. And yet none of the kids that get stuck in there with these adults that have no shred of common sense, you guys. In what world can you purport to have common sense and be really looking for L. Ron Hubbard a few decades ago, the advice he gave you to really resolve something where he's always going to give you the wrong advice? He's always going to give you euphemisms to camouflage what in the hell you're going to be doing. Because again, in case it's not clear, all the rhetoric he pulled out of his ass, out of his literal ass. And a lot of people still want to, oh, but you know, this part was helpful. This part was great. If you can tell us what is great of propping up a 501c that locks up children against their will at an industrial size scale, and with a straight face can still be talking about a religious situation, it'd be great to start understanding how that is going on in the brains of all Scientology parents, in the brains of all Scientology executives. You cannot be saving the entire world and enslaving children at an industrial size scale. That is what in Scientology is called, you guys. What is it called? What do you think it's called in Scientology? It's called an outpoint. Get it? That's what they called it inside the hotel, an outpoint. Outpoint. And what does an outpoint mean, you guys? Glad you ask. This is a contrary fact. Isn't that great? Contrary fact. So L. Ron Hubbard, stupid pig that he was, told us that, if something is this and then something is that, then this cancels the legitimacy of that. You see? So if they're clearing the planet and saving everyone, how are they also enslaving children at an industrial size scale? You see, guys, all Scientology parents, don't play dumb. That's the outpoint, guys. You couldn't have been saving the world. You couldn't have been more infantile or ridiculous or stupid or idiotic going into those hotels with your little adult game that you brought children into your little adult game. That's what the problem is. See how simple it is, you guys? Here we thought this was going to be so complicated and no one in the hell was going to figure it out for a million years because it's a 21 and up hotel, guys. It's a 21 and up hotel. The woman that went inside to the hotels to go falsify her statistics, to get transferred over to Happy Valley, that's having a jolly old time inside that hotel scheme, is not the victim that people need to be asking about. Because wouldn't you know that I was a minor inside, stuck in the hotel, in the RPF, in the hole where this woman was, except she was a grown-ass woman and I was a minor. Same time. But guess what, you guys? Nobody was looking for me. Isn't that great? Isn't that just so wonderful that, there was a bunch of reporters asking questions about a grown woman that was, maybe in some shady situations. I mean, let's really all waste our time running around the entire world making sure no adult makes a bad decision for themselves. But you know what, guys? If we just solve the problem for what it is, which is a racketeering criminal conspiracy, all of a sudden, no adults are going to want to be involved in it anymore, right? Or wrong, Scientology parents? Once you understand that child trafficking, which seems to be the crashing misunderstood word that all Scientology parents have, you guys, they haven't cleared the definition of child trafficking for themselves. But you know what? Once they literally open up that book and clear the definition, which they really do love to do, you guys, they really do love to clear definitions. So Scientology parents, go and clear the definition of child trafficking. Go and clear the definition of passport and identification. And go and clear how, when you are getting financial benefits for dumping your kids inside a hotel, how that might get you implicated. Because you know what? That would be a great thing for y'all to start figuring out. Just to make sure that you really are covered for all the kids currently stuck inside those hotels, as if we don't have Scientology audit going there every day. But by the way, you guys, he's there alone. Don't you worry about it. Scientology audit has not a single Scientology parent standing next to him. Imagine that. Imagine all the Scientology parents are just on the sidelines waiting for the day that David Miscavige is brought to justice, you guys. Because we're really going to get far when David Miscavige gets brought to justice. Right, guys? Something's going to be things are going to really change inside of those hotels. That's how they've all insulted your intelligence. That's how they've all insulted your intelligence, as if the problem was one man who didn't even write the rhetoric himself. I mean, imagine the stupidity of that pitch. Imagine the sanitization of the pitch. David is the one that did it all, and we all had not even a single shred of a clue. Isn't that great, you guys? That is the pitch that we have as we close this year, 2023. None of us knew anything, you guys, but you know what? Where's Shelly? We're looking for her. And you know, this woman that disappeared in 1999, I don't know what in the hell happened to her, you guys, because, you know, she crossed international waters and then, you know, she is considered an adult. So even her brother is keeping it real with us and saying, yo, she went there. You know, once she makes up her mind about doing something, no one can change her mind, as if all the adults stuck inside the hotel aren't that person, you guys. But again, the blurring of boundaries, the eroding of ages of who's stuck with this problem inside of those hotels couldn't be more clear as we yet close this year without a shred of guardrails for a single kid stuck inside those hotels, including and not limited to all the photographs and videos that we now have from Scientology Audit, who is taking it upon himself to go there every darn last day and is getting to know who really is manning these places. And I'm sure that right about now, he's thinking, this doesn't make a shred of sense. What in the hell is this foreigner, young, good-looking kid doing here, Angel? I mean, we're even learning all the names of these guys, you guys. Like, there's Angel and there's, you know, what's the other one? I forget right now, but I'm terrible with names, but we're learning all their names. We're learning all their names, and they're still there, and they're still recruiting, and they still want minors, and they still want young people. Malleable AF is their specialty. That's who they sink their claws into, you guys. And those are the victims. If you are an adult that is donating to this disgusting hotel operation, you're nothing but a child trafficking donor. So maybe go check that pitch for yourself. If all those awards that you're getting for yourself there, all those diplomas from L1 Hubbard and all those courses that you really are, you know, paying to what? Self-improve? What's the pitch, you guys? How are you self-improving if you're enslaving kids? Again, that is what we really did learn today, you guys. All of you have now learned the definition of an ow point. One thing cancels the validity of the other. If you are enslaving minors from all across the world, literally going to Venezuela, literally going to Mexico, literally going to Germany to recruit them, right, Debbie Cook? Remember how y'all just sent missions everywhere? Let's really go recruit kids, you guys. Let's really put them on our statistics. So the minute that Debbie Cook comes out, you guys, telling you, oh, I had no shred of a clue, all the minors. Every Thursday, Debbie Cook checked how many minors she recruited. Imagine she was getting paid bonuses for recruiting children. Imagine she was literally being given like, oh, Debbie Cook, do you want to go on Libs on Saturday? Because you really should take a day off since you did really recruit 20 kids this week. And your hotel could not be better staffed right now because, you know, we already handled all the problems that it was going to have since we didn't have kids before. And now we do because they're all just Sea Org members. They're all just adults, you know, just adults and good old adults in small bodies, you guys. Like, put your Sea Org captain on and just make it go right. You can do it. You're an adult. Just come to present time. So, with that type of straight face, we really do land here asking ourselves, in what literal world are adults that are believing tales about Little Red Riding Hood the full-blown defense to commit felonies in the United States that are in the books written. It's illegal to transact your children. So it's completely illegal to do that. Turns out, you guys, we didn't know. We thought it was normal. I mean, everybody was doing it inside of the hotels. Don't think it was only Mike Rinder. Don't think it was only Debbie Cook. Don't think it was only my parents. Don't think it was only Gail Smith, Aaron Smith Levin's mom. Don't think it was only Laura's parents. Don't think it was only Jenna's parents. Don't think it was only Liz Ferris's parents. And don't for a minute think it was only Nora Crest's parents or Miriam Francis or Christy Gordon. I mean, there's plenty names, there's plenty children involved, you guys, and there's been nothing that has changed in decades. Imagine 73 years later, the operation couldn't be more the same thing that L. Ron Hubbard wrote, whatever, many decades ago. These people are fanatical. They are obsessed. They couldn't be more self-righteous. They couldn't be more allergic to a shred of critical advice. Literally, like, yo, check the goddamn pitch. Yo, double check that L. Ron Hubbard wasn't a convicted, indicted felon before you just go and role play your shit inside a hotel. I mean, we're sounding the alarm, you guys. This is what this is about. Like, literally sounding the MF alarm. Why? Because the Clearwater Police is getting paid to listen to no alarms. No matter how many type of alarms go off inside of that hotel, you guys, the Clearwater Police couldn't be more blind, deaf, and dumb. Literally. Like, okay, you guys, everything's great inside of those hotels. So, no, adults cannot be saved unless they want to be saved. They got to actually move their feet. But we would know from being stuck inside a hotel as kids, you guys, that we didn't have it as good as Marty Rathbun, you know? We didn't really have motorcycles on the side with our passports within our own person to, you know, take off 10 days after we had a little tiff with David. We didn't have that. We were literally stuck with our passports locked in a safe. No access to that. Our parents couldn't be more criminally complicit in knowing that we were stuck there, working the hours we were working, neglected AF as we were. I mean, my own parents saw my grandmother die of stage 4 cancer because she wasn't taken to any medical person until it was way too late. So, and then my parents thought, you know what? It would be a great place for you to go work in that hotel. A great place for you to be there right now. And you know what? Good luck. Good luck in there. Have a jolly old time. Oh, no, we don't want to be in the Sea Org. How many of us Scientology kids would end up in the hotel, you guys, because our parents knew that the Sea Org was abominable and disgusting, and they just liked the services. Oh, no, I like paying for it. I don't want to be there as a Sea Org. Oh, no, that's too much work. Oh, no, I did that when I was young. I did that, you know. But now, you know, I just live it up over here and do go pay a lot of money, knowing that there's children being exploited AF. But you know what? They're servicing us. We are very important because we are paying for this service. We're public. We're so important. I mean, you know, the public in Scientology, you guys, are the enablers AF. And yet everybody cradles and canoodles them like, oh, yeah, whatever you want to believe. Like, God forbid we insult you. And as much as everyone wants to say, oh, yeah, David Miscavige, oh, my God. Who's paying for these hotels to run. I'll tell you, not David. He's a dropout from high school. He has no money of his own, you guys. He's a Sea Org member that's been stuck inside the hotel his whole life. Where is David's money? If he has no 501c, he has no money. And imagine you literally co-found a 501c and you think that you literally have money. You guys, imagine. But I mean, that is actually kind of part of the hijacking, right? Oh, I'm on the board of this 501c, you guys. I only want to help. Oh, I'm just here to help. I don't get paid. No one here gets paid. We're just, figuring out how the funds are used. Isn't that great, you guys? Isn't that just so great? So I know I've gone on and on this point, but in what world are we going to keep trying to save every adult at the expense of all the kids that are getting literally no advocacy whatsoever inside of the hotel or outside? Because the corporate media is too goo gaga for a quick buck. Let's make quick bucks. That's what the media is for. Okay. How's the stuff? Okay. I don't want to get into that. So fast, quick. Let's do it. Let's put it on YouTube. We'll get many views, whatever. There's children involved. No, nobody wants to hear about children, you guys. That's just like, that's not our brand. It's what these top tier corporate media outlets, multi-million, with all their lawyers and their advisors and their editorial boards of the New York Times. Oh yeah, we really know what in the hell we're doing here at the New York Times, as we give L. Ron Hubbard the New York Times bestseller over and over and over and over and over, and we never take it back because, why not, just pitch pedophilia in book 1 as a normal childhood problem, that if that ever happens is the childhood who is refuting those advancements, the one that really needs to get handled. But who cares? The New York Times doesn't give a shred of a literal F. You guys, isn't that great? Isn't that great that the New York Times bestseller, L. Ron Hubbard, for how many years? And how many literal examples we have of how Scientology would buy its own books, and the idiots at the New York Times would just put them back on the New York seller. You guys, we're really selling a lot of books. And the idiots, supposed to be journalists, you guys. I mean, last time I checked, you have to have critical thinking skills to work as a journalist. Otherwise, how in the literal hell is anyone there pitching that they investigate a shred of a thing, you guys? Imagine being that stupid at the New York Times that you literally propped up a convicted, indicted felon that in its very first book pitched to normalize at scale children being blamed for being essayed. Because you know what? That's the little book that Tom Cruise keeps telling us to go read. John Travolta keeps telling us, oh yeah, you really want to know what Scientology is all about? You guys go and read that first book. So all of you little pathetic celebrities that have been pitching to go read that book, please, by all means, go grab your publicist real quick and ask that publicist how you can, maybe pitch that. Maybe that wasn't the right book to really be telling everyone to find out what we're really all about. Because in what world can any of these Scientology parents and adults tell us that they didn't have a shred of a clue of what type of disgusting things, indefensible AF, pulled out of his literal ass by L. Ron Hubbard to make up, with no research, with no backup, and with no literal common sense, that it wasn't the child's problem if they got assayed, that they had no shred of a clue what in the hell these adults were doing to them. So let's double down on this point, you guys. So no Scientology parent can play dumb in the back and be like, yeah, but I didn't know any better and I wish I would have. Well, to double down on your stupidity, you then also went with the pitch that children are not children, they're adults in small bodies. So in what world can all Scientology parents erode all common sense boundaries between them as adults and their kids and then expose them to rhetoric that said it was their fault they got essayed? Book 1, y'all, Dianetics, the modern science of mental health. But we're not doing mental health, but we do therapy. And we are a church, but we operate out of a hotel. And, you know, you really can check in. And we really use children to staff the hotel because all of these adults loved staying at a hotel staffed with teenagers. Why is that? All Scientology parents that have stayed at the Fort Harrison Hotel, please, by all means, literally grab your little computer and start typing the reason y'all go and visit a hotel staffed with minors. Because yes, as we close this year, 2023, that is making no shred of sense anymore. Since we are adults in adult bodies now, y'all didn't count on that being the day that would come where we really would realize that as adults in adult bodies that we are, we literally got scammed by y'all. Pathetically scammed. Your clownery couldn't have been more ridiculous and dangerous, given that, you know, y'all just stole how many literally formative years of how many kids that have never had even a shred of acknowledgement that they got screwed over in the most unthinkable, disgusting way. How were they supposed to figure out that y'all were full of brown shit? Because that would be really great to understand right about now. And again, not just from David Miscavige, from Angie Trent, from Sue Gentry-Pichet, from Debbie Cook, from Debbie Boykin, from all the child trafficking executives that were inside of that hotel, living it up, having an amazing, great time until David ruined your fun. So I really wanted to highlight, you guys, what these people are up against. They are their worst enemies because they won't, under any circumstances, want to take a shred of accountability. And that's why there's been no change inside any of those hotels. And they all know it. They all know this. They all know it firsthand. They knew what happened. They don't want to repudiate it. Imagine in 73 years, none of these people want to repudiate it, want to come with actual receipts of what in the hell was going on. Receipts that would be effective enough to move the needle and set up some shred of guardrails where every single person that was 21 and under would be actually being transported out of those MF hotels, given that they don't have the ability to consent to being audited, to being ethics handled, and to be doing BS courses, being certified to literally launder felonies. In what world did y'all think that teaching me at 12 to launder felonies for y'all while y'all were charging $500 an hour for me to launder said felonies was a great idea, Debbie Cook? Because right now we would really love to hear from you how that was a wonderful, magnificent idea. And so you just didn't use me. It was Natalie Galdiari, another minor that you would parade around all of your Scientology public that really wanted to pay. I want to go pay for Natalie to make me go free. I want to go pay for Natalie to service me. They couldn't have been more disgusting, you guys. They really couldn't have. And the fact that they were using all minors to do their little shenanigan, disgusting stuff inside that hotel is what is going to be questioned ad nauseum. So thank you for listening to all of that.
10 years, Wiebke H. was the most successful Scientology manager worldwide. Scientology sees itself as the truest religion on earth. Its presumably positive goal is to use its ideology to create a better world. Income in the millions flowed year after year from her organization in Hamburg to the Scientology headquarters in California. When her sales took a turn for the worse, she was removed as president.
Sie hatte, das war ganz witzig, einen
She had,
Sekretär.
that was quite funny, a male secretary. She was certainly not a highbrow, but she said, since I'm a woman, I want a male secretary. I still think that's funny. He was a nice guy. In principle, Wiebke ran the whole organization. That means she was the one who asked, what's happening here, what's happening with the courses, how are...
And there you are, guys. All of these people living out their kindergarten fantasy. Literally. I mean, they couldn't be more infantile and they couldn't have been more deranged what they were perpetrating, what they were doing inside of those hotels, what they were normalizing for themselves, doing the courses. The courses are indefensible, you guys. The courses are the problem. Scientology is the problem. The fact that everybody followed the stupid ass courses, everybody followed whatever in the hell was written without a shred of critical thinking. I mean, in what world was that going to turn out great for anybody? And as much as we bring up all of these executives, y'all, it ain't personal. Y'all were sitting ducks. Y'all were doing the bidding of a convicted, indicted felon. It wasn't going to ever work out great for you. And if you want to go claim that you were scammed, that you didn't know what in the hell you were doing, go get yourself a criminal lawyer so that they can advocate for you. And they can start making the case of how L. Ron Hubbard is the one that scammed you. But if you became L. Ron Hubbard for 50 plus years, don't come here telling us how, oh yeah, but you know what? I really did float my needle by the time I walked out of a threshold of a hotel and decided to really blow the whistle. And yet every single last shred of child that's 21 and under inside of those hotels is under the same exact danger and problem that all the ones of us that have come up living to tell, literally alive with our lives, having to connect all these things that suck AF, you guys. I mean, it couldn't be more disgusting to wake up to this level of betrayal. I mean, the clown show couldn't be more disgusting.
Acquisitions made, how is the inner organization? Later, Scientology said that she had lied. I don't believe that. I simply do not believe that.
Das glaube ich nicht. Das glaube ich schlichtweg nicht.
Change of location. December 5th, 1998. Clearwater, Florida, the mecca of Scientology. In past years, 9 Scientologists have died here under mysterious circumstances. Among them, 36-year-old Lisa McPherson. Charges.
So, and this video really takes me back to that time, you guys, because that's when I was literally locked up in the hotel when these people were marching outside Lisa had just died. And remember, we just did a whole video reaction to Lisa's death and Marty Rathbun's involvement in practicing law and medicine without a license and doing all manner of disgusting things. Because again, you guys, in what world can any of these executives with a straight face say that they were not literally out of their minds? And going back to the scriptures to be like, this is how out of the mind I was. Because look, it says here, lock someone against their will. And that's what I did every single day I woke up for 2 decades. So I just saw somebody say here, Serge, please talk about solutions. Those are the solutions, you guys. We need to start confronting the facts. The facts need to be exposed. The people that were implicated in doing all of this need to come to their senses and literally carry their own MF weight and start actually coming with some real humbleness and humility to not make it all about them. They cannot make it about them if they were the top tier of this disgusting pyramid scheme. And so far, y'all can go and check the record. Anything prior to 2023 has been, David put me in a trailer. David told me to do it. David said this. David was controlling me. David, I was in remote control. I have no shred of a clue. How old were you when you left? 50. So then what? The solution is for all of those people that do know how to come clean, you guys. Believe you me, they spend years practicing inside of the hotel how to write time, place, form, and event of any criminal thing they could have done. Imagine if they did that and they went to the FBI Crimes Against Children unit, telling them, here, FBI, look, these are all the kids that I was trafficking. Here's all of them. Here's all their stories that I haven't talked about. And then all of a sudden, if the FBI had 100 executives from Scientology knocking on its door, no, please listen to us. We done messed up, like Aaron says. We literally done messed up. We were out of our mind. We bought the pitch. It couldn't have been more deranged. It couldn't have been more disgusting. It couldn't have been more pathetic. But we took it serious. And you know what? What happens when you take it that serious is that kids got implicated, and you know what? They didn't consent. So a lot of these, adults out there, you guys, are really, living it up, not being, I'm sort of over it, It's better to leave the past in the past and, just move on positively. Isn't that great, you guys? That all kids that didn't consent don't have those type of mental health capacities. Imagine that. Yes, turns out that if your brain was being affected by these MFers when it was just developing, we are now stuck with like literal handicaps. And you know what? We don't want more kids to be having midlife crises like the ones that we're having, and some of us surviving by the sheer grace of God. But that's the problem with the cycle of trauma and abuse of all of these people refusing to say anything that is not sanitized and convenient for them to pitch as David did it all. He's the boogeyman of the year. When David didn't write the rhetoric. And they all couldn't have been implicated at the same MF level, you guys. At one point, when you're in a conspiracy, that's how it works. You're just co-conspirator number 43. Y'all just relax. You were child trafficking kids. At one point, it doesn't even matter. Oh, but I really was one of the good ones, you guys. That's not how it worked inside of the hotel, you guys. Like, it was all role play. You're going to be the supervisor. You're going to be the sec checker. You're going to be this. You're going to be that. You're going to have to prove that you're that. And everybody did everything full knowing. And it couldn't be more deranged and it couldn't be more stupid. And again, where is that repudiation? Nowhere to be MF found, because there has been no ethics change, because they haven't gotten their overts off. Isn't that great that just literal Scientology things apply to why nothing has changed? Nothing has changed for children inside of the hotels. Where's the advocacy for them? So how do we get to solutions? We get to first confront what it is. Radical acceptance of what in the hell the facts are, which couldn't be more disgusting and damaging for any Scientology parent that's implicated. And yeah, that's the bad news for all of y'all. Rip the Band-Aid off already. Again, it ain't personal. Y'all followed a stupid ass idea written in a book. So get over yourselves already and start actually confronting evil. Remember how y'all would always go around the hotel? Confront evil, you guys. You really need to confront it. Well, you know what? Confront it today. Confront it today. Today would be a great day for all the Scientology parents, you guys, to have a cognition, which is what they call in Scientology, when you really realize some shit. So all of you Scientology parents have a cognition already. You're involved in child trafficking at an industrial size scale. And it required your cooperation, your endorsement, you being okay, you entering the hotel and seeing nothing and paying for your next service and seeing another child interrogating you and thinking nothing of it because they were just an adult in a small body. So newsflash, that couldn't have been more of a degenerate pitch. And that's why there is no soap or bubbles in the entire world that can scrub up your image of the disgusting things that you as an adult normalized by really going with the pitch, children are adults in small bodies. Do y'all see how it works? Because all Scientology parents, you guys, need to write that in their notes. And again, those notes should be landing at the FBI Crimes Against Children Unit. That's the solution. Y'all want to know what the solution is? All Scientology parents, all Scientology executives, go and get yourselves an appointment with the FBI Crimes Against Children Unit. And discuss what you were paying for. Discuss how much exposure to this shit you had your child under. Discuss it. Discuss how many times your child was locked against their will and false imprisoned, a felony. Google that shit real quick, you guys. GTS is locking someone against their will inside of hotel, a felony. Yes or no? United States of America, Department of Justice. If we were stuck in a hotel, if we couldn't leave the room, if we weren't being asked disgusting questions and our passport was locked up and we had nowhere to go, what in the F do you call that? Because religious experience couldn't be more of a fake pitch from Marty Rathbun, from Mike Rinder, and from David Miscavige. So good luck getting that pitch to stick today. The three amigos that did take it upon yourselves to get this 501c propped up. And that's why you're the three amigos. Oh yeah, you guys, these guys were besties back in the day. Oh my God, they were tight AF. Tight AF. And, you know, it's interesting that they've been blabbing their mouth so much because we got all manner of receipts to be saying what in the hell we're saying. We're not just yapping. So that is what the solution is. Confront what in the hell the problem is. If Marty Rathbun, if Mike Rinder, if Debbie Cook, if Angie Blankenship 4 people that are out, you guys, would really go there and really, 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 really tell them what they were doing. And not just like, well, L. Ron Hubbard said to do it and we just did what L. Ron. No. You were a grown adult. I don't care that you were there as a child. You were 50 by the time you left the hotel. Well, you know what? Half of your life you spent trying to be like L. Ron Hubbard. So go and confront what that means in the physical universe and stop being glib and out ethics, you guys. This gets resolved with Scientology. They are all being out ethics AF. Dishonest AF. Omitted data AF. See, these are all Scientology things that could be really like, you know, they could have dug into these, you know, technologies, you guys, that really could have, you know, made them take responsibility and make amends. Do you think they believe in making amends today, you guys? Oh no, they don't want to make amends anymore. That's what, when we were inside the hotel. You see how it works? They love getting their little ethics handlings done inside of a hotel. Because there, they really would love spending days and weeks planning and writing and whatever, because, you know, they were very, very safe there. But now that it's time to go to the FBI to go get that ethics handling, oh no, they don't want to go do that one. They don't want to go do that one. Let's see, what else could we like grift real quick here before we literally get caught with our pants down after lying our asses off for decades, as if they're not pathological liars, as if they're not literally psychotic, unindicted felons on the run, purporting they were very religious. So you guys, we were so religious inside the hotel. Well, they religiously locked up kids against their will, if that's what you want to call it. If that's really what you want to go with, then by all means, tell us why it was so religious to have us locked up for however many hundreds and thousands of hours that you spend doing that to kids. Again, you guys, very easy problem to resolve here. 21 and under, you didn't consent. 21 and up, you did. Even the ones that were brought in as kids, like at one point you became a 40-year-old woman running that hotel, right, Debbie Cook? At one point you became a 45-year-old woman running that hotel, right, Debbie Cook? At what point you had 5 young girls that were your slaves, all from different countries that you did recruit, that you did keep their passports locked up, right, Debbie Cook? But of course, you guys, you think Debbie Cook has talked about that? Oh no, David did it all. I was having a jolly old time. So how is anything going to get resolved if nothing is getting resolved? In Scientology, what they call that, you guys, is the problem doesn't assist, it persists if there's lies. Imagine these people in Scientology go, oh yeah, problems go away when the lies go away. Well, how about starting to get rid of the lies? First lie, you're a 501c that is a sham. You're not anywhere near whatever in the hell the co-founders of this BS. Because again, you guys, we have to go to 1993. L. Ron Hubbard is dead AF. This shit was supposed to sink. I didn't come in. David Miscavige, Mike Rinder, Marty Rathbun, the 3 amigos that are really going to save the whole world, you guys. We really are saving our world in our cosplay fake military uniforms that we do wear, that we do take serious when we were doing these disgusting things. They really did think they were lieutenant commanders of whatever in the hell they were doing inside the hotels, you guys. So that's why it goes back to those 3 amigos that did go to attorneys, that did put false pitches on the record, that did know everything that L. Ron Hubbard said and decided, oh, how do we make this sound religious? Okay, let's really go with scripture, you guys. Let's really just say that. And then locking people up against their will. How do we, oh no, that's just a therapy, right? Just just like any old religious therapy that you can do, because technology and theology are completely interchangeable, and our pitch couldn't be more fake AF, because that's all y'all were. Dropouts. One became L. Ron Hubbard's publicist, Mike Rinder. One became the Deputy Inspector General of Ethics and Legal Affairs, Marty Rathbun. Imagine that, you guys. A college dropout that had no shred of a clue, but his daddy figure, L. Ron Hubbard, really was advising him in ways you don't even understand. And of course, David at the top of this food chain, who they were all very loyal and real besties with until David turned on them. So when they were all running the slaves together as a team and everybody was happy and David wasn't terrorizing them, they were having a jolly old time. But then later on, they fell out of favor with David. And oh my God, David, you guys, let's go to the Tampa Bay Times to really tell them what happened to us. Because, there's so much things we have to discuss. And the idiot, Tobin, just grab the story, you guys. David did it all to you. David did this. David did that. David did blah. David did... Yeah, the truth rundown is what they went with. Imagine, guys, if that's the truth, woo, we're couldn't be literally more astonished. Because if the only thing that the top tier slave owners of this operation, Debbie Cook, Marty Rathbun, Mike Rinder, Tom DeVocht, and all of them that really have gone on the record to really, whistle blow. But you know what? They haven't talked about what type of childhood holes they were having. Right, guys? Because again, it's just all adults inside of Scientology hotels. As long as we keep the narrative there, then we're safe, is what they think. As long as we pretend that, kids are adults in, small bodies, but just like any old adult, we were all under the same spell, you guys. Forgive us all. Forgiveness comes with recognition that you've done wrong. Where is that, Scientology parents? Where is that, Scientology executives? We would love to hear a statement of what y'all did wrong inside of that hotel. Because so far is all these cacamimi stories about how I was victimized as an adult, even though you consented, even though you paid for it, even though you wrote success stories about it, even though you knew it was going to be video recorded, even though you knew it was going to be transcribed, even though you were told that you were going to have no rights, and you were so happy to sign that consent form, release form of 12 pages without going to any shred of attorney. So, I'm sorry, what else do you guys want us to do? They literally put all the crumbs there for you to tie that around your neck. But, some of these people love it like that, you guys. You are going to see more of that in this documentary, because these people did leave, women that are advocating for this treatment. And that is really what the purpose of this video was, to have to confront that fact. The more we advocate for the kids, the more these adults might have a saving grace at wanting to repudiate and wanting to not be maybe so goo-goo gaga for this false AF, disgusting, indicted, convicted felon that's been pitched as some sort of American, religious born God. What is it, you guys? How pathetic can anyone be? So let's just go through some of your comments here, and we're going to end off for today. There's plenty more to come, but I just want to end off here with some of y'all's energy, which is always nice. Caught my first live on the channel. Well, great. Thanks for coming here, Fire and Herbs Nurse. Thank you. Join Serge. He needs better things to say with his audience. Join him. Oh, yes. Audit, LA Scientology audit. That's what you're referring to. Yeah. We'll be doing some stuff with them. I mean, you guys know last time Laura FM showed up, the whole thing shut down. So apparently our SP powers could not be more effective, you guys. Literally save the kids from Scientology. Well, thank you, Super Pop. That's right. And shout out to me, you guys. As you see, my name is literally Serge, which was a name that one of our great commenters proposed to us on the live with Nora and Aaron the other day. And I thought, I do say literally a lot. So maybe it's a sign. I don't know, you guys. Ha ha ha. Una secta. Yes. Una secta porquería. Marranero. Asqueroso. Yuck. I love spicy, sarcastic Surge. Oh, well, thank you, Abdaso. Well, thank you guys for getting me. Like, the sarcasm and spiciness is, number one, the only way I know how to cope and deal and show up for this problem. Because as you know, it's like, I cannot stand that everything that happened to us is still being done to other kids. And I don't know. I'm like, let's ask the questions. And you guys are actually showing us and giving us oxygen to want to expose this, because you are getting educated on a problem that's been in the mainstream of pop culture for how long? And it's all been literally sabotaged and hijacked by all these corporate media interests that all they give an F about is, can we mention Tom Cruise? Got a message from his old classmate the other day, a soundbite that Streets played so that he could hear it. Oh, cool. Juju, in what literal hell is a baby left to rot in a filthy crib unattended? Yes. Well, in these hotels, you guys. And yeah, I think part of the children's problem gets dismissed because they go, oh yeah, but they don't have any more cadet orgs, you guys. Yay, yay, yay. But don't take it that quickly, because again, anyone under 21 does not have the capacity to consent to extreme, no boundary role plays. Period. Full stop. So that's what we're trying to also make sure it's clear, because it doesn't come across, everybody just plays dumb. And the fact that people think it's very hard to understand what Scientology is, you guys, right? Like all these explanations, let's explain you this, let's explain you that. How about we don't need a single shred of an explanation? Lucky for y'all, I did all the studying. Lucky for y'all, I did all these disgusting things as a child, and I couldn't be more disgusted today. And now I'm able to connect the dot to what in the hell I was bamboozled to be doing for these goons. And I couldn't be more disgusted. And that's, I feel like, the fieriness that you get from me as well is because I was put on the front lines of this disgusting clown show. And again, perhaps the people that consented to be part of the clown show are A-okay with it, or just want to walk out from it. But the fact is that had people been advocating for me when I was stuck in there, like they were for Lisa, McPherson, I mean, yeah, she shouldn't have died, but she was another adult in there. And no one ever has protested for the kids stuck inside the hotels. So there's been plenty of adults that have been advocated for, and that has landed us exactly nowhere. Why? Because adults are adults and they're 21 and over, and they make shitty choices, and then they have to live with those consequences. And children don't have that luxury. And it couldn't be more evident the type of difference that exists in those hotels. But for some reason, we still get a lot of, playing dumb. So That's the reason, you guys. Free zone bone phone. I could see people getting into it, and very early, as soon as LRH was putting kids on boats, the outpoints were too numerous to ignore. Correct, free zone bone. And I think that you guys, and I brought this up in the live that we did with Aaron and Nora yesterday, is Scientology already is disgusting and indefensible, just as L. Ron Hubbard wrote it. But depending on the level of power trip you have, everything can become worse. So prior to 1993, like I said, Scientology was very feedy weedy, which means everything was sweetness and light and complete a course. And it was all this like hoo-ha, people having like this hoo-ha community that they were a part of, where, they were doing their stuff and it was weird, and they still did horrific stuff and inappropriate, because the boundaries being blurred were never beneficial to no child. The problem is, once they became a religion inside of these hotels, you guys, shit went awry AF. Again, that was when RTC formed up, and that's when OSA formed up. That's when all of these disgusting people propped up these horrible cliques of abusers and entitled themselves to do that. So there are too many points to ignore. And the first outpoint is, again, it's like children are not commodities to be enslaved. Even if your parent tells you that you're a commodity and I made you, that is not okay. And there's a lot of like law that backs up that fact. So you cannot just be an unhinged parent and run and do whatever in the hell you want. And that's why all Scientology parents are called out, you guys. Like, people think like, Mike Rinder and Claire Headley. It's like, it's all of them. It's all of the Scientology people. Scientology people have spent so much time trying to distance themselves as like they're all in the same boat. Literally, they all went to the boat. You're all in the same boat. If you left the hotel, if you came, whatever in the hell you did, it doesn't even matter. You're still in that boat because you participated, and whatever in the hell felonies were committed then haven't stopped. So maybe double check on what else you need to start talking about and what else you need to really whistleblow to really stop that part that isn't stopped, to really do something effective. And since y'all couldn't have had more oversight and firsthand witness information, literally from those positions, then it behooves you all to do that. Robin Scott and some other religious technology heroes left already during the time LRH was alive. Yeah, I mean, plenty people have jumped ship out of this scam. You guys, plenty people have done that. So I wonder if Mr. Miscavige of RTC has a secret bank accounts in shady countries. Oh, you better believe, Rune. You better believe. There's plenty of money laundering going around. Yeah, Louise, does Serge speak to his parents? Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. And I'm actually really glad that I got this question, you guys. Another one of these complete false whistle blowing campaigns is disconnection. If your parents child trafficked you, my only saving grace was that I did disconnect, that I did go and get actual help to actually understand what in the hell happened to me, so I could literally start piecing myself back together. And so much of these campaigning has been like, oh, Scientology disconnection, and isn't this, it's like L. Ron Hubbard told these people, you cannot afford to be part of this and be antagonized in any way, because otherwise it doesn't work. The technology that didn't work in the first place definitely doesn't work if anybody antagonizes the fact that you're being exploited. So in what world can we really stop this connection? This connection needs to be encouraged. Disconnect from your parents, disconnect from the people that are in on scamming, in on really propping up L. Ron Hubbard, a convicted, indicted felon. I mean, it's as if like, imagine like the people that killed for Charles Manson really did follow his advice, really did think he was that great. And then, the kids that are stuck with parents that were part of that would get told, don't disconnect from your parents. It's like, that's going to be so sad for you. I mean, it's all trauma bonding. It's all enmeshing. Like, we never even had a chance or a shred of chance to understand what any type of normal relationship was, because our parents commoditized us because they really bought the pitch from L. Ron Hubbard. And our parents treated us as adults in unthinkable ways, giving us things to do that are indefensible. And, some things that you do, you can never take back, you guys. So let's not forget that. There's things that are literally unforgivable. And I think we need to really speak to, especially for kids that leave. I think that message has been confusing to some. And but we're getting through. You would think that this is true crime obsessed world and the child abuse trafficking aspect would be gobbled up. Well, yeah, it's true. Actually, that's a very, very fair point. But the information can only come from people that were inside of these hotels, right, guys? Because the corporate media, with all their superficiality and glibness, have never taken it upon themselves to actually investigate, to actually go inside the hotels, to actually see if there's children being exposed to this, to actually document what audits are, to actually document what ethics is. So in what world is any reporter ever going to write anything worth reading if all they do is talk to compromised AF sources that all they do is sanitize narratives? And I'm not talking, of course, about every single person that has come forward with their stuff, but there's very, very specific, and you guys know who I'm talking about: Debbie Cook, Marty Rathbun, all those people that came out and literally curated the narrative so everything could go their way. So, but those are what the corporate media gave the most attention, most oxygen, most credibility to. So you would think that they would have wanted to investigate this, but the level of corruption between the Clearwater Police, the Tampa Bay Times, and all of the Florida governmental apparatus that's been really standing there idly, full knowing, you guys, as if the Clearwater Police has no shred of clue what in the hell's going on. Do you know how many runaway teenagers they picked up from the beach and brought right back to Scientology? Literally, don't even get me started on that. And this one from Jennifer: I fear for all the children, especially the ones with autism. Yes, I can't imagine a child growing up in that cult, especially one with autism. Scientology don't believe in autism. Oh my God, Jennifer. And we'll talk about that point because from John Travolta's son to other kids that I knew that had that, it's frightening. It's literally frightening because these people are not safe to have around children, believe you me. Go to the hotel and pass out aftermath cards to the kids. Yeah, but that would be so ineffective, right, guys? A child cannot leave the hotel. Like, there is no type of note that could have been passed for me that could have saved me out of the hotel. What could have saved me out of the hotel is the FBI coming and saying, all kids 21 and under out of these hotels. Go back to school. Go back to where you need to be. You didn't sign a contract that wasn't valid. Get out. No, you cannot hire any children, period, full stop. I don't give a shred of an F. And that's what we need. We need the awareness to come in to advocate for these kids so that they are removed away from people that are harming them from the mere fact that they're pretending they're adults. So imagine that every single last Scientology parent that had left, and especially the executives, would actually be literally nonstop talking about this until every kid is out. I mean, that's what it is, you guys. I mean, I don't know. Is that too much to ask? Keep calling out all the names that have dirty hands in all of this. I want to hear some public apologies. Well, yeah, thanks, Barb. I mean, and again, you guys, all the names are all the people that were involved as adults. And all of them as a collective have a ton of exposure to this problem, you know, and this isn't a finger pointing situation. This isn't a take it all personal. And, you know, we're not doing this little game of like, oh, this, that. It couldn't be more pathetic. What we need is effective action, effective measures of people really owning up to what they did and coming up with intelligent, smart ways to really end the problem. We don't have to come up with the solutions for that. They can do that themselves. That's part of their redemption, you guys. That's part of them having to do some of the heavy lifting. All we can do is call out the problem and raise awareness about it because, you know, the courts have already told us that, oh, your statutes of limitations are run out. You really should have found out that you were child trafficked when, you know, I don't know when in the hell we were supposed to realize that. But, you know, the hell that a child 20 years from now is going to end up in my same situation, waking up in his mid 40s, figuring out that his parents were trafficking him, that the executives were nothing but crooked AF, disgusting, exploitative, full knowing degenerates. Child trafficking, abusing degenerates. How many kids did y'all abuse pretending that we're all adults? I mean, you guys, I think it's very hard to understand like the type of scenarios that are built. I mean, you couldn't even get into the depravity of what goes, since all of this is, you know, interrogation based and video recorded and all of that. I mean, it's so indefensible is what it is, especially when, you know, you've deprogrammed yourself of all of this disgusting euphemisms that implanted in you to make you see it their way. And today we couldn't see it any other way other than what it is, a disgusting hotel locking up kids against their will. So let's get them out already. With that type of understanding, I think we're going to get them out. And yeah, we'll keep talking to Scientology audit and more people that really want to get kids out of the hotel. A hotel's a very easy place to be abused as a staff member. Has there been any stories of, I don't know if I can say that word, but of that, I mean, any cult that thinks children are actually adults in children's bodies? Good question, Jennifer. I'm glad you asked that. And no, you guys, it is, I think I can say the word. It is prostitution, but it's not the prostitution that you're thinking. So it is a $500 per hour transaction that adults are being allowed to pay inside of a hotel to be dominated by a kid. That's what's so disgusting and inappropriate. Like the child, like in my case, I was made to be the dom in the situation of being the auditor, the so-called auditor. You're supposed to be in full control over the other person, physically, mentally, everything. And the power dynamic and balance couldn't be more lopsided and couldn't be more depraved and disgusting. So it wasn't literal sex that people were having inside of the hotel. I mean, supposedly they were going in there to do sessions, like L. Ron Hubbard said, to do them. Never mind that were plenty of examples where people would lock themselves up in the hotel. One was the auditor, one was a PC. They fell in love. They started literally doing all type of sexual stuff inside of the hotels too. But that's the thing that Scientology sort of uses as an excuse. They're like, yeah, you guys, but we are very, very ethical. As soon as we find out something like that, we really do an ethics handling to the people. So they're all about having no boundaries inside of those hotels. No one has privacy. Everyone is being monitored. And then the people that are supposedly handling the cases of the people are just clueless people that call themselves case supervisors, you guys. And they're also just people that completed a 2-week course inside of a hotel. Barb, Serge, I'm sorry you had to live through this as a kid. No child should have been through this derangement thinking. We hear you. Thank you, Barb. Yes, no children need to experience any of that craziness, you guys, for sure not. Bob Minton silenced and fair gamed. Yeah. And we know who was doing the fair gaming back in that time. Those people are too busy playing the victim. Yes, Artsy Warrior. Unfortunately, that is the literally for real state of affairs. Oh God, you guys. Third, they're literally too busy being the victim. Oh yeah, that's the one that we just read. William believes that Sebastian has an ankle monitor on. I don't. That doesn't. I mean, I don't know in what way he would have an ankle monitor. I mean, you can be under legal trouble and still be in security. Scientology would have busted him if he posed any type of legal threat because they're always on crisis management mode. But I mean, I don't know. Are they now ankle monitoring their people? I mean, could be, right? They're not. They're definitely not above it. Oh, no proof, but they see the lump. Yeah, well, I suppose they know where he has. Well, you know what? It could just be a knife, you guys. I mean, these security guards were armed to the teeth. Remember, Scientology really does really believe in protecting itself, and they always come aggressively down on anyone that does anything remotely to them. So God knows what he has there. We were considered adults in small bodies, and unless they wanted to tell us what to do, then we were suddenly children again. That's so true, Cedar. I didn't know that you were in Scientology. Blessings on you being on the other side. Thank you for joining us. But that's so true, you guys. Like, that's how it was. It's like, oh, you're not an adult, but now you're my child. Do what I say. I mean, ugh. Were they represented by counsel when they met the FBI? No, I don't believe they've been represented by counsel. I don't think they have been represented. I also don't get how the FBI has sat down with all the kids like Serge, Nora, and Lara, and grew up in the hotels investigating the crap out of the children being illegally held. Alicia, well, part of the thing is, going back to that whole thing about the statutes of limitation, never mind that, we have come forward not in the interest of building a criminal case for ourselves, although Lord knows we deserve one, but we need the facts exposed. We need them to confront that whatever in the hell happened to us cannot be being done to other kids today. And, leave it to these people in government to be kind of like squirmy. And, we have done our share of talking, but building a whole case is such a it's such an other animal. I mean, this whole thing about justice, you guys, just gives me a headache because it's just so unfair in so many ways. But there will be a point where something will change, I'm sure. Barb, everything you've sold is right. My render thinks after a lifetime of ruining lives, he's now the victim. And yeah, and you guys, going back to the point, it's like everything Mike Rinder has sold, everything Debbie Cook, anything, any of these people that were in those high positions, they're all compromised. They're all compromised. And again, this is not personal, it's just the facts. So, you could, I believe in redemption. I believe they could really make a big difference. Well, go make it already. Like that's all we're saying. Like, is the year 2023. Go make that and go take more responsibility. Like they told us in the hotels, you guys, when we were kids, start being effective because you have been producing overt products that have been so ineffective. As long as the problem persists, you haven't accomplished what in the hell you set up. So all of those things are the things that don't make sense. In what world did you co-found this, Marty and Mike Rinder, and then all of a sudden you cannot dismantle it? All of a sudden you have no shred of a clue how to dismantle the bomb, the sham that you created? How does that work? How does that work? Because that's what's not making a shred of sense. I can pretty much guarantee the Board of Refugees are being sucked into Scientology under R1 visa. Children are in group homes listed as LLCs owned by Scientology. Well, I mean, I wouldn't put it past them, you guys. They literally sell visas to people from Mexico. How do you think I ended up here? It was all my disconnection from my abusive alcoholic narcissist father was the best thing. Sometimes people romanticize bonds with parents if they're not good ones. Let it go. Well, thank you, Amanda, for sharing that, because that's what we're talking about. We're talking about being able to stand on our own 2 feet and advocate for our own selves, knowing that we always deserved better, and the people that don't see that then don't have access to us anymore. Third, do you think what Streets LA is doing is going to bring a new movement moving forward? I think it is, you guys. I mean, again, going back to the point of like what Aaron was talking about, YouTube is paying them to make this content, right? Like it's paying for itself, and we couldn't be happier that the incentives are there for people to do that, because very much, I mean, the whole movement is a First Amendment audit, right? And for so long, Scientology's only relied on their ability to shut everyone the hell up to continue to run their scam. And when you see him going after them with the ferocity that he goes after them on, like, he straight up calls them scammers, and he he knows what he's protecting, and he's know what he's doing. So I really believe that, if people can make a living exposing people that are hurting others, well, great. I mean, it's not like it's, the more, it's the awareness that's needed. And I mean, think about even how we all now have really seen all the people that they put in front of those damn places, you guys. They just look like us when we were their age. That's why they shut down that place when Laura went there the other day, because, they're terrified of us actually opening up their eyes. So yeah, I think it's good. The more the merrier, the more information that is out there, the more activism that can be done, and the more pressure that can be applied so that no one can play dumb. I think that's the name of the game, you guys. No one can play dumb. In this year 2024, no one will be allowed to play dumb, because we're not about that. We're not about that life of playing dumb. I assume because they aren't looking, but they aren't finding current cases as kids can advocate for themselves until they grow up and leave. Exactly, Scarlett. I mean, think about it, you guys. Like, how long has it taken me to connect all those shreds of dots? And how long has it taken just all of us? I mean, it's literally been a whole lifetime of abuse to, in our mid 40s, be understanding what happened. It's very hard to wake up from betrayal blindness, and not a lot of people survive it, I believe. Like, it can lead to that brink. But it's just all these like side effects that happen from being raised in these unthinkable environments. So, but I think that, yeah, we really going to be doing something to change it. Oh, look, Down the Rabbit Hole News. Shout out to you, sharing and hitting the like. Thank you. Oh, yeah, you guys. And speaking of true crime, I will be doing an episode with Down the Rabbit Hole News next week on Wednesday. So look definitely forward to that conversation. So once again, the name of the game is to take everything that's on the public record already, you guys, with this media audits that we're doing. We're not doing audits like Scientology audit in the street. We're taking it behind the scene and auditing all the media and all the things that we can see are not totally contextualized, because I feel like there's a lot of learning that we can all do, especially, when I see these, I really understand a lot of things that I didn't understand before. So hopefully we can continue doing these media audits where all of you learn more. And the more we all learn, the more awareness there is. And the more sunshine is the best disinfectant, you guys. And to be able to disinfect all these things that happen in the shadows, we have to stand in the light of the facts. We have to expose them for what they are on their face. We have to be radically accepting of what it is. And we will be able to, to change things. Slavery wasn't abolished because nobody was aware. People had to fight for their freedom. Imagine United States abolishes slavery only to prop it up again via a 501c that Marty, David, and Rinder pitched to the IRS. Imagine that's all it took to literally shred the Constitution, to literally bring slavery right back. It's like we're back to the slavery days, you guys. But with awareness comes the ability to stop the abuse. And no one is going to be able to play dumb in the year 2024. And we will get a lot of change. So thank you guys so much for joining me. There's a lot more to go over, but I really appreciate all of you holding space for these very, very difficult conversations that we're having that are going to make a difference. Whenever that change comes, we always look forward to it. Thank you guys. Have an amazing weekend, and I will see you all extremely soon. Bye-bye.